Sparrow from Berlin. Thomas, thank you for being with us. What more can you tell us about the specifics of Ukraine Defense Contact Group of 2024? How will it operate?
Well, this contact group is particularly important to coordinate efforts by those countries that are interested in helping Ukraine, and the understanding more and more among those countries that are helping Ukraine is that assistance, military assistance, political assistance, economic assistance, needs to be long-term. In other words, the understanding is that there is no realistic expectation that the war in Ukraine would end very shortly, would end very soon. So the efforts need to be coordinated at an international level to help Ukraine defend itself from Russia. And that defense in particular now is focused on both ammunition and also air defense, two key topics that are being discussed at this meeting. And in particular on the issue of ammunition, there are also international efforts to provide Ukraine with the necessary ammunition that it needs. This is something that has been a very big problem for Ukrainian forces in recent times. And that's why with this international coordination during this contact group, one of the key areas of discussion was precisely how to give Ukraine, how to provide Ukraine with the necessary ammunition that it needs to defend itself.
Thomas, do you foresee a longer-term situation where US aid falls short and European support for Ukraine is insufficient to stave off Russian forces? What happens then?
There are questions, obviously, about the long-term commitment when it comes to this international support to Ukraine, and a long-term commitment in particular considering the fact that, for example, this year the United States will have its elections, that there's a possibility that there will be certain changes in the political priorities there. And as such, this is something that is being discussed at an international level in high-ranking discussions to make sure that irrespective of what changes happen, for example, at the US level, that Ukraine still manages to get the help that it needs to defend itself from Russia when it comes, for example, to ammunition, when it comes, for example, to air defense, but not only in those two specific cases. So certainly these are issues that are being discussed, but they're also being discussed under the idea that it's still very early to actually make a specific decision. No one actually knows what is going to happen in the US election. And before that, a lot can happen at the international level, and specifically a lot can happen also in Ukraine. So there are discussions specifically on that. I would say more private than public discussions, but there's also a certain degree of waiting to see what exactly is going to happen specifically in the United States before any longer-term decisions are made on the support that Ukraine would need in order to defend itself appropriately from Russia.
Okay. Thank you, Thomas. Thomas Sparrow joining us from DW Berlin. On to the other big conflict raging in West Asia. Israel, based on intelligence